The number one thing that was affected was hospitality, and that's our four businesses. We have a Glacier Haven Inn, Healthy Haven Cafe, and Glacier Haven RV and Campground. And all four of our businesses were greatly affected during this pandemic time. I didn't know anything about Montana West until one of our bankers that was we were going to help as well. They told us about Montana West, and we were quite fortunate to have Montana West help us during this time, because obviously we didn't have any business. Not only did we not have any business coming in, but we were sending out thousands of dollars of refunds, and quite frankly we thought we were going to lose everything, all four of our businesses. Montana West, they provided for us a small loan that helped us through that transition time where we started to get business again. That helped us get back on our feet, and then in turn, once we were back on our feet, we contacted them and sent the money back to them so they can pass it on to others that were in great need as well. And had we not had that with a few others, it would have been a different day right now.
About a year ago, we had a huge transition in leadership, and we needed to really step up our game as an advisory council and say, hey, what are we doing here? So we had to dig deep, and we needed some answers to finances. We needed some answers to how are we going to run this. We needed some viability studies done on it. We reached hugely out to MWED and FACETA and said, what can we get? How can you help us? I can't tell you how many times I've reached out to Jerry Meerkatz and Laura Russell and Tony Brockman and folks and said, we need some help, we need your support, we need some answers to this. MWED was one of the supporters on financing for the Gateway Community Center, the old Gateway West Mall. We're at about 80% occupancy right now. When we had our transition in leadership, we were at about 50%. So we've worked very hard to get where we are, and even during this pandemic in the world right now, to have an increase in growth and occupancy and tenancy, we're feeling very, very happy about it. And I think that speaks to the energy and the synergy that we have, along with MWED and FACETA helping us out through the process. A lot of businesses that are emerging and coming into Kalispell come through the gates of FACETA and MWED. And it's a great place for us to have that on our radar to say maybe that would be a great, you might want to house yourself at the Gateway Community Center. So we appreciate not only the knowledge and the wisdom and the business acumen that FACETA and MWED bring along, the financial resources, the people resources, and just the vision and the mission that they help us support through the Gateway Community Center.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Desmel, and together with my husband, Bud Desmel, we have created Big Mountain Cider Works. We have an orchard and 7,000 trees, apples and pears. We also have our tasting room and our production area, as you can see in the back with our tanks. Well, to get this building built and to buy all of our processing equipment, our tanks, our canning machine, our bottling machine, we needed a tremendous amount of capital. And so Montana West was instrumental in getting us the money when we needed it, and they were very easy to work with. They also were great about hooking us up with other leaders in the business community and providing kind of a mentor situation. So we were very happy to have those resources available to us. I think that Montana West has maybe been underutilized by business owners, and I would encourage anyone that does need help to get their business going to talk to Montana West, because they are very easy to work with, they're helpful, and made a difference in our project.
Communities can be shaped by chance or can be shaped by choice. And I think right now that this community has really been thoughtful about saying, what do we want here? And you know, the community has spent 10, 12 years thinking about that and engaging local people. And what do you want to see? You want to create something interesting. So for me, where FACETA and MWED have come in is really having that vision. I always talk to people about this area and I say, well, we're not a primary market. We're not a secondary market. We're not a tertiary market. We're kind of a frontier market. And to get people to invest in this frontier market is a lot more challenging than major cities. And so sometimes the public agencies have to take that sort of initial effort to take that risk. And so for me, working with FACETA and MWED has been really crucial in pushing that forward and making the community and the opportunities here something that's interesting and palatable to those outside the area, as well as those inside, locals who are interested in investing in the community. Capital always has an impact, right? Every time you bring money into something, it has an impact. And so the question is, what is the impact you want to have? How do we create a place where people locally want to stay, where their kids want to stay, where we're creating jobs that are good wage-paying jobs for our community members? How do we uplift our tax base? How do we reinvest in our community in ways that is meaningful and intentional and has the kind of impact that we want? MWED and FACETA have really been extraordinarily forward-thinking. They have removed a lot of the early obstacles that we've had. You know, in their partnership with the city, they've been doing a lot of work with the EPA and the brownfields and all the environmental work that needs to get done. Being thoughtful about how we move forward and engaging people in dialogue and conversation around what do we want to see is a really important first step, and one that I've seen FACETA, MWED, and the city take very seriously. And I'm very encouraged by what's going to happen in the future.
Montana West has played a really important role in the development of downtown Kalispell for various reasons. They first create a platform for all the different parties to come together with one common goal, and they've laid the groundwork for all of that to happen. And without somebody going ahead of the developers, the property owners, the tenants, businesses, and laying this groundwork, a lot of the redevelopment in downtown Kalispell wouldn't be possible. Montana West has allowed all the developers, builders, all these businesses to get behind their vision and the groundwork that they've laid and now take it to the next level. They still offer great services as far as the environmental, economic reviews, the information that they can provide, and then also all the connections that they've made through the laying that groundwork. They can help people like myself, property owners, businesses get connected to develop downtown for the betterment of business and the residents that live in downtown. And I think you're going to see a lot of people getting behind that now that there's activity and it's real. We can see the work taking place today.
Well, we are an independent business, and we believe strongly that independent businesses are the backbone of our economy and our community. And it just makes sense to support new and local businesses. I just think that there's nowhere to go but up for Kalispell and our community, and growth is imminent and ongoing. Moving to the rail park gave us the opportunity to support Kalispell's future growth by allowing removal of the railroad tracks through downtown. We feel that MWED has made a big difference in our community and is positioned well to do so going forward in the future.
The Glacier Rail Park has been a tremendous asset for Glacier Stone. They've installed some of the state-of-the-art facilities here. This used to be an undeveloped area of Kalispell, and now we've brought in paving, lighting, fiber optics. The rail has been improved. Our neighborhood has been brought up by multi-million-dollar businesses, and it has been a great asset for our company and the community. Yeah, being a part of Montana West has been a strong benefit to the community here. As a company that came to the area almost 20 years ago, the ability for MWED to embrace us as a business and help us with our growth strategy, who we needed to interface with in the community. They've been a tremendous asset to us.
Economic development is so important because the more healthy and vital your community is, the more it benefits everybody in the community from the top on down. If your business or my business is doing well and is healthy, you tend to be much more generous in the community with the dollars that you have and that you earn. And it helps, as I said, everybody from the nonprofits to whomever you choose to help.
We've moved 3 major companies out of downtown Kalispell. They've increased their employment. The tax base is increased. I've heard people say, well, that's the job of the general public or the developers. No, that park standalone would not have been profitable. It would not have been possible to fund. But having done that, it is making so many other things profitable. There's going to be a resurgence in development in downtown Kalispell. I don't think people have a clue. When those rails come out, people are going to realize that yes, it's really happening, and it's going to create a lot more development, a lot more taxes. It's going to increase the county and the city's economic tax base. It's going to move the county further down the field as far as an attractive place to be.
Some projects are so big and so comprehensive that any one person or individual or business, they're really going to have a hard time putting it together. And through the collaboration of the individual, a business, the county, the city, you can get a lot of heads together working on a pretty significant project, just like we did with the Glacier Rail Park, and create so many opportunities looking down the road. As I said, it's not going to happen just through the efforts of one individual. It takes a lot of people to make big things happen.
It's kind of like when you see a turtle on a fence post, it didn't happen by itself. That'll probably never make it in the
Since I started about a year ago, MWED helped me from day one to find the resources I needed in the community to get started on this business. MWED's resources are far-reaching, more than just, being there to support you. They go out of their way to make sure that you succeed. And that's what really inspired me to become part of MWED as a member, and also to continue using the services they have. They are a very well put together organization. I am a PTAC client, which, as a veteran, I'm a veteran-owned business, and I try to do business with the government as well. Not just with Firehouse, but with other businesses that I've been able to start. And that is just due to the fact that I've had great organizations in the Valley here that's helped me out all the way. MWED being probably number one. If it wasn't for MWED and getting me connected to the correct bank, I don't know if I would have been, as successful and opened on time like I did. So I am eternally grateful to them for what they do. It's a very valuable piece of the community. There is no one I want to thank more than the people of this community for coming in and doing business here and making us a success.
Well, MWED ultimately, gives us an opportunity to finance a deal that we know makes sense. We know it's going to be, a good customer to this valley, and there just might be 1 or 2 hurdles that we just can't get over, based on our policy, that they could come in and help mitigate that risk. Not only do we partner with them on specific loan transactions, I reach out to them to just get an update on the local market conditions in the valley. They really do have their pulse on what's going on here in the Flathead Valley.
I think the Flathead Valley is an incredible place to do business. Everybody thinks that if you want to build a tech firm and you want to go toe-to-toe with some of the biggest firms in the world, that you have to do it from Seattle or San Francisco or New York. And the reality is that you don't. In fact, I found amazing talent here in the Valley. It's harder to find, but once you find it, you'll find it is far beyond the talent that you'll get in any of the bigger cities. And more importantly, you've got this Montana small town community culture that's willing to rally around you, and they're really interested in seeing your company do well. So there's a very good business case for both having a company here in the Valley and doing business in the Valley. When I moved my company to the Flathead Valley, it was clear that I didn't have a network, I didn't know anybody, I was going to need some help. And so a mutual friend recommended that I reach out to Montana West Economic Development. I wasn't as a member, nothing. I just said, you know, I'm new here, I'm looking to hire people, can you help? They brought me into their headquarters, sat me down for really a couple of hours, learned the story, learned what we were trying to do, introduced me to their board members, had me present in front of their board members, and then it became very clear that if they were willing to do this for somebody who wasn't even a member, imagine what they would do if I became a member. And so I decided it was a good idea and in the best interest of the company that I become a member of MWED. MWED initially helped us get new banks, they helped us get in front of potential customers, they helped us understand the landscape of Montana, both in terms of government finance and really government regulation and the things that did and did not apply to us, and helped us really get a running start once we moved here.
Well, economic development is the lifeblood of any municipality, and there has to be someone on the front side of making sure that growth it's very calculated. So we started coming to the valley because we loved that beautiful part of the country there, and then started to hear about the need for affordable housing, workforce housing, and that's what we do in the Midwest. We build apartments. We decided to go to work and spend a lot of time talking to people there in the Valley, and Montana West Economic Development Group was on that list, and one of the first stops. Being 1,300 miles away from our home base, it was necessary to have the right kind of people helping us. They were able to help us facilitate the right relationships and to get a feel for the market. And it was really just a great team, and those guys were very beneficial. It feels like because of their organization that everyone is on the same page there. And having been a developer, I can tell you that that's not always the case. So I feel like the Valley is uniquely equipped to take private groups like mine and put them together with the right people in the city and in the county and whatever that may look like, and sort of pave the way for the appropriate growth. And that's what they've done with us. And, we've been able to take advantage of that momentum that was already in place. We have continued to see through our building of the Highline project in Columbia Falls. It's 180 units. The city there was great to work with. Montana West Economic Development was a big part of helping us get that done and facilitate that. And we were able to finish the project in 2 years. We're 100% occupied, and we're starting now this April in Kalispell, 41 Meridian Court, with the Meridian, which is going to be 144 units, a replica really of the design in terms of exterior and interior and so forth, unit mix of our project in Columbia Falls. We're very excited to bring that to Kalispell. A lot of work went into that from a lot of people. And so, just our group alone in a few years, we'll have, 325 units there. And none of that would be possible without the help of a lot of people, including Montana West Economic Development and the city's desire for appropriate growth, and everybody working together. It's not easy to do these things, and we have been thrilled to be a part of it.
Well, between FACETA and MWED, I think it's important from the standpoint of having community leaders, both from a business and a government perspective, serving on the same board, that creates a confluence of opinion, hopefully at some level anyway, and a venue for communication for each, for the private industry as well as the government industry to know issues that businesses are having, and to create alignment hopefully in between policy and what the general business community wants to have. So I think in this particular instance here, this was a case where there was a publicly owned piece of property that Faceta had, and it was put out to bid as a redevelopment project, which is something is near and dear to my heart here in the community. I mean, these redevelopment projects to take areas of town that have declined in use or have changed in stature from one way, shape, or form for one reason or another, and be able to put it into use for a real need, and housing is a big need in this community. And to be able to take what was an unused empty parking lot and turning into something that is used and needed in the community, it's exciting, you know, as an infill development, not something that's a new development outside the city limits that requires the city to expand services and that type of thing. So it's an exciting project from that standpoint. There's been a lot of big changes over the last year in the community, and they're going to start to be realized. A lot of the work's been done behind the scenes right now in terms of planning, and a lot of dedicated work to get the funding, like the Tiger Grant funding and the rail park, to get constructed and to get these businesses moved. And now we're going to start to see the fruits of that labor. And you know, for my community and our community, I want that planning to be done well and to be well thought out, and to it's a very exciting and unique opportunity to reimagine our downtown core and to add value to our community. And I think the economic development agencies like Faceta and MWED, the ability for the business community to interact with the governmental community and have aligned goals, it's a great opportunity, and hopefully we don't miss out on it.
We started looking around for a new home for GL Solutions. We have about 50 employees or so, and there's a number of communities that kind of met our criteria, and we reached out to the Economic Development Montana Authority, Montana West, and they basically helped connect us, show us around, introduce us to the business community, tell us about the things that the area had to offer, and really were just hospitable in you know, providing information or resources that they could that would make it easier for us to make a decision. If you think about it from a business outside the region, it can be kind of hard to figure out where to connect and who to connect with, and so your Economic Development Authority can help you to do that. And in this particular case, what really won it over for us was the hospitality shown. So several of my business partners, we came up and visited. Montana West brought the government folks, the mayor, I think it was one of the city manager of Kalispell, as well as the business leaders in the community, the bank, you know, just a variety of people, and they all made us feel very, very welcome in the community. And for us, you know, coming from a similarly sized community, we were really looking for a place we could call home, and they made it feel that way. You can tell with the community that it's beginning to envision its future and form a strategic direction. And whether that's recruiting a business like mine or the Rails to Trails, there's a variety of things that are occurring in the community. And Kalispell and a region like it is going to grow no matter what you do. People are going to choose to live in a place like this. And so then the real question isn't about whether you're going to grow, but how you're going to grow, and the kinds of employment that you want to offer to your children in the future. And so I think it's really important to have an Economic Development Authority to lead that effort for the future. So you're not just a random community of put together things, you're actually a community that you intended to be.
Well, it was an interesting process to come and contribute our share to bring GL Solutions to the forefront here in the greater Flathead Valley. It was impressive the day we were able to come together with about 15, 18 other stakeholders in the valley in the same room and put together a very unified approach to how we could be their new home, their new future for the greater Flathead Valley. We really did a great job, I thought, in bringing the best to them to say, you're making the right decision moving here to the Flathead Valley. Over the years, what we've really seen is the need to invest in Montana West economic development. We can't do this alone as Glacier Bank or the financial community. We really need an overarching organization that really helps coordinate the entire effort here. That would include the government community, it would include the business community, the financial sector, and certainly FACETA. Thank goodness we have FACETA here to really help augment, support, and put the capital behind our unified effort to make this work. One of the things I think is going to be most important as we look to the future is expanding Montana West economic development. The current membership base is great, but we should be doing more. We should set our sights higher on how to attract more organizations, more companies, more individuals to really be engaged in Montana West economic development. Not just from writing an annual contribution check, but really to be involved in committees, to be looking for opportunities to bring more business and more economic opportunities to our valley. And so what I'm really doing is saying, there's a call to action here. Let's get more people involved. Let's make this even go better. Thank you.